Hi. I want to do a few bits and bobs with you. I know I said we were going to try and get our crocodile or our dragon mitts started today, but we had a big day up in Boise with the neurologist, so we didn't get home till late, and just a lot of stuff going on. So I'm going to kind of walk you through a few things, but I do want to show you a couple things that I've been working on and get you interested in maybe going to Tin Can Knits. They have beautiful patterns. They're from Canada, the girls, and wow, some of the stuff they do. I started out with one of their free patterns called Flax, and I made it in the heavier weight yarn that it shows, and I really like when designers give you a free pattern, even if it's just a small pattern, because then you get to see if you like the way that they write things, if you can understand the way they write things. And then ever since then, since I bought the Flax, I have several, and I've gotten some of their small ebooks also, because I love their patterns. They're just easy to work with, and they're young, so I like supporting young people. But one of the sweaters that I just finished, and I don't have it blocked, I don't have the buttons or snaps on it. This is the one I was going to do snaps on, and I still have to do that. So you can see it hasn't bloomed out yet. When you soak your yarn and block it, your yarn will bloom a little bit, and a lot of your weird looking stuff will just kind of mesh together a little bit. So take that in mind when I show you this. But this is called their classic cardigan. And let me turn it around. This is a beautiful cardigan. The pattern for this, these girls did a fabulous job with this pattern. It comes with 3 different yarn weights. You can start with a worsted, you can do a DK, or you can do a fingering like I did. This is fingering yarn, so it's very, very small yarn. It's like sock yarn, but I do like it because I've always liked to work with lace threads and making doilies when I was crocheting, and now socks and things. So I chose to make this with the fingering yarn, but you can see it is just designed just beautifully, and it fits perfectly. I mean, you take your measurements, you add however they tell you how much ease you can wear it at, and then you put that ease in, and their patterns are very easy. And like I told you, I have snaps. I'm going to go ahead and add snaps instead of buttons to this one. And we did a practice video with the K-snaps so that you could see whether they worked well or not, and they did work well. So I went ahead and I knit the snap side again. Otherwise I left this open just in case I didn't like the snaps and I was going to put buttonholes, but I like the snaps, so I'm going to put snaps in. And I haven't decided if I'm going to use white or the dark purple, so that's one thing. But this is it took me a while because, like I said, it's the smaller fingering yarn. And the fingering yarn is so small that it takes you a little while to get it knit up, as opposed to worsted. So then I went ahead, and that purple yarn came from Hobby. I think it's from Denmark or Holland. It's from overseas, and it's 75% wool. It's a fingering, but it's 75% wool and 25% nylon. Now it's very scratchy. I'm not thrilled with working with it. It was a little bit scratchy and just not. I like soft things, and so I wasn't real thrilled with the fabric, or the fabric that the yarn made. But it was very cheap, and so it was a nice one to try out this pattern with. And I will wear it around the house. I might even wear it if it blooms out nice once I wash it and block it. I might use it for good. But what I did, since I like the pattern so much, is I went ahead and I went to Knit Picks. Knit Picks is another one of my favorite yarn suppliers, and I got their palette yarn. And palette is a very nice fingering yarn. It's a 2-ply, but you can kind of see, and this is brown. This is kind of the color of my eyes, a reddish brown, so I really like this color. But you can see it's a top down, and she gives you 2 ways to start it. You can either start it by knitting the knit to, purl to ribbing, or she gives you a clue that if you just cast on with the smaller needles, change to the larger needles, and then start working your sweater, then come back later when you're finished and pick up stitches and make your neckline, it comes out really nice. And I did that with this one. I started with the smaller, and you can see it's much nicer defined. It's not loose, and it doesn't overstretch. So I thought I would do it on this nicer sweater. This is going to be one of my better sweaters. But you can see it is that light? That light is kind of, there we go. You can see it's just, it is a very pretty pattern. So again, if you're interested, go to tincannknits.com and look at their patterns. They have lots. They have cables, they have lace, they have mittens, hats, and I'm sure you'll find something. Look at their free patterns if you haven't tried them out, because they have hats and mittens. I think they have a free sock pattern, and then they have sweater patterns, a couple sweater patterns. And it will help you to see if that design, their design patterns mesh with you, because, you know, I might like something that you don't like. And so if you can find a free pattern from a designer that you want to try out, and then you say, oh, hey, I like that designer, then you're free to buy, you know, whatever you like. If you buy something and you're not happy, sometimes that makes life a little bit miserable, and then you're a little bit more gun shy when you go to get another pattern. See, this has a little bit of yellow, a little bit of red. I mean, it's called a heather, and so it kind of meshes together real well. So, okay, that's my sales pitch. Let's talk about our dragon scale mittens. Now, you and I are going to be learning how to do this together, all of us. But I will kind of go through things before I do a video so we know what we're doing. Now, I did go ahead and get the red heart. I'm going to stop this for a minute and I'll be right back. Okay, I just wanted to bring my camera down so that we could see a little bit better. Let me move this out of the way. So the yarn that I got was the red heart. It's called Unforgettable. Now I know they have all kind of red heart yarn, but this is a sport weight yarn, and it suggests a size J needle, but we're going to use, you can use either an F or a G, and I have both of them here, and I don't have an F, I'll find it. But this is a pretty yarn. You can see it just, it changes colors, and it has like a little, I don't know if you can see it through this video, but it has an iridescence to it. It's just, it's kind of a pretty little yarn. So this is the one I'm going to use, and when I make my mittens. The other thing, okay, I said you need a size F, hopefully. I'm going to show you how to measure for your glove, and the pattern I'm making is for my hand, which is a size 8. And what you do is right about at your knuckles or below, a little bit below your knuckles, you want to put your measuring tape, and see there's my knuckles. And then you want to come up here and see I am at a size 8. So I would suggest that you go ahead and follow my instructions. If you're anywhere, give or take a ½ an inch, 7.5 to 8.5 inches around, this will fit well. If you are smaller than that, if you have a small hand, the only thing that I can suggest, if you want to follow along with me, is to use a size smaller needle. And like I said, I'm going to be using a size F. So you will want to go down to a size E or maybe even a D. So those are things you need to think about. I am going to try and get this started tomorrow for us. I'm sorry I didn't get it done today. My yarn just came tonight. I got it just a little bit ago before we had supper. And so I haven't had time to play with it and make sure I could handle the stitches. I know how to do. That's not a problem. But we are kind of going on the fly to make our glove and then put some pretty little things on it. So I hope to see you tomorrow. I'm sorry it's late, but I think we're going to have fun. I think we're going to have a lot of fun. So come back tomorrow and check out our video making dragon scales. Some people call them crocodile scales or mermaid scales, but I have several family members who were born in the year of the dragon, and so for me, they're dragon scales. Okay, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.